Hey everyone, this is Andrew. I'm coming to you again with a video update about the branding project that I've been a part of with the Navigators. In my last video, I talked about the research we had been performing to figure out what people were already saying about the Navigators and to try to determine what it is that we could focus on as sort of our meta overall communication messages. And you may have seen in that word cloud that I showed that the word that was used most often was the word discipleship. That's a good thing. Discipling is part of our calling. It's something that is really a hallmark of who the Navigators is and the way in which we do ministry. So we're thrilled that that's the word that people think of most when they think of the Navigators. However, that's a term that doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. So for instance, I've been to churches that have discipleship classes. Well, the Navigators aren't talking about a discipleship class when they use that word. Growing up, my mom was in a Bible study that used a curriculum called Disciple. That's fine, but when the Navigators use that term, they're not talking about a Bible study curriculum. So, what are we talking about? Well, we've used a lot of different terms to try to clarify what we mean by that over the years, and we circled around four that were very similar but seem to start to zero in on what it is that we're trying to communicate. And those four are one-on-one, one-to-one, life on life, and life to life. So if you've read my email updates or updates from other staff or from the Navigators as a whole over the years, you've probably seen all four of those at one point or another. So let me talk about the ones we didn't choose and why, and the one we did choose. So with regard to one-on-one and one-to-one, that really pigeonholes you into a two-person relationship. That it says that our discipleship always functions in groups of two, and that just isn't the case. Sometimes it's more than two people. And so we wanted to make sure that the way in which we describe that consistently across our communication reflected that it's not always just two people. And so we looked at our next two, life on life. We use that one a bunch. It's been used a lot around the Navigators. However, it very subtly communicates a power structure, that you have one person's life and they feel that they have something that you need, they have, and they're going to imprint that on your life. And that's not a clear picture of what we do, nor is it what we want to communicate in our messaging, even just subtly. That this is not something where we feel like there's one person who has the answer and you're the one who needs the answer and therefore you should come to us and get the answer. That's not what we want to communicate, because it's not how we operate. So we looked at that term life to life, and that's a term that much more accurately captures the picture of what we mean by discipleship, that it's a one-on-one or one-to-a-few relationship that has people who are living life together. They're sharing their life with each other, and that there's not this strong power structure that something like life on life would communicate. That instead it's a very relational and intentional picture of ministry. Which, if you recall from my last video, are two of the brand attribute words that we use in our communication now. So we have chosen the term life to life. So what you're going to see a lot in Navigator communication is life to life discipleship. You'll see that that term spelled out a lot within our messaging in print and in our messages that we give verbally and in videos. You're going to see that pop up quite a bit. We feel that this is such an important term moving forward for us that we're actually pursuing trademarking the term life to life. We've submitted our trademark paperwork and waiting for it to all go through, but it's one that we want to invest a lot of brand equity into. So You'll see it used by itself. You'll see it used with other words, life-to-life evangelism, life-to-life Bible study, that sort of thing. But primarily, we're going to use it as a way of differentiating what the Navigators mean by discipleship as opposed to maybe what other ministries mean by it. So yeah, look for that. I'll be using it a lot. Other Navigators, I'm sure, will be using it a lot. And that's the reason why it's going to be becoming more prominent in the way we communicate. So thanks for watching. In my next video, I'm going to show off our brand new logo and talk about why we designed it the way we did. Until then, thanks for watching, and thank you for your support of my ministry with the Navigators.